now. It could go to do any kind of updates or anything you would need for Parks and Recreation.
Okay. And this year, according to your numbers, this year, the city of Harrison gave to the Park and Recreation, which is not a part of the city government, by the way. You gave them $536,000 this year.
Correct.
So if we're going to collect 1.2 million, which is what that 4% would do at today's projected sales increase. If we're going to donate 536,000 plus collect 1.2 million, are you going to go ahead and donate 536,000 to Park and Recreation? Or is that 536 going to stay in the general fund?
So then 536,000 can be used for Parks and Recreation and to continue to maintain what it needs right now. There is well over $1 million, I would say, in stuff that needs to be updated currently in Parks and Recreation.
But for 3 years, you're going to collect 1.2 million plus 536,000 a year gift. How much money? What does Park and Recreation need? That sounds like an awfully lot of money.
I will also tell you that that $1 million or whatever that amount is, 1.2, 1.1, whichever you'd like to use, can be used to set aside in a reserve fund as well for Parks and Recreation to replace stuff 10, 15, 20 years down the road whenever it's going to be necessary. That is going to have to be there at some point in time, and that will help with that. Now, am I going to sit here and guarantee you that the city general fund is going to give them $536,000 all 3 years? I don't know that answer. That's up to them to decide. I can tell you right now, it's quite possible that we have to continue with that, a good portion of that to help keep Parks and Recreation going with their operations and maintenance now. We could use it to help put some of the furnishings in some of that building if need be. And then if you break it down to the general fund, we've had a deficit budget for the last 6 years. We've been doing a very good job of watching our expenditures to where we try not to have a deficit budget at the end of, a deficit actual number at the end of the year. And we've done a very good job of that the last 3 years. So at some point in time, the general fund, yes, they may keep part of that to help offset some of that budget, their deficit budget as well.
Okay, if you needed money, if the city needs money for the general fund, you'd have to pass a tax for that, wouldn't you?
If it's not something we're already getting, yes.
That's my question, thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
My name's Bill Oden. You was talking about Paragould, Well,
Yes, sir.
this past Saturday, my wife and I was in Branson. We got to visit with a couple up there, and we found out they were from Paragould. They got talking about Harrison, and I said, yes, they're wanting to build a water park down there, and she said, well, we got a water park. He said, we've had it a while, but then we lost it. I said, you lost it? She said, yeah. Said the town up the road, which is about 3 times as big as Paragould, all of them come down there and use our water park, and so we in Paragould don't get a chance to use it. So she said, because of that, we have to pay for it, but they come and use it and pay a little fee, and we're the ones that have to pay for it. So that's the lady from Paragould that was telling me that. And as she walked out the door, she said, if I was you, I would not vote for that. Thank you.
I don't know, I obviously would be on a first come, first served basis for using a facility as far as a water park goes. However, I believe Batesville, I believe you have a 550 person occupancy. I believe it's actually 800, but to make it usable, you can get 550 people a day in there. I can't promise you what the occupancy level of this would be, but obviously we'll try to get as many people in there as possible, but we do have to be safe and not go over any kind of code as well, so.
Luke, I'll make a mistake, but I'll make a comment on that right there. That's a good thing. That's a good thing when you have other communities coming to your city using that. Like you said, we're limited 550. We have people that get there 30, 45 minutes early. They get, okay, I don't know if this worked. Can you hear
Just
it?
got a lever somewhere.
Push the button. Okay, here we go. All right, can you hear me now? I'm sorry. What I'm saying is a good thing, because we have people who wait in line at our facility, 550. I actually visited with Mayor Gaskell. That was the first community center I had set my foot in. They have a very progressive town. They've got a lot of cities, small incorporated cities. Jonesboro is very close to them, 70,000, 80,000. They come to their facility. Jonesboro is also, they're looking at plans. They had one to fail not very long ago. But we have individuals who come to our community, and my answer to them is get there early. Get there early. You can always get in, but you may have to wait. Now, one thing I like about those folks that come from out of town, they always go by McDonald's and Wendy's, and they help us pay for that, because they also are shopping in your town. They'll hit TJ Maxx and Walmart, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. If you don't have traffic in your community, you're in trouble.
Yes, let me say something. This lady might know that these people coming down from up north of them, Jonesboro, the name of the town, would flock in there, and when the people from Jonesboro went, they were not able to get in. That's what she was talking about.
Yeah, and yes, sir, and I understand that. What they are, they're getting there early. If you open at 1, those individuals probably didn't get there at 1:30 or 2. I'm just kind of saying the scenario, you've got to get there early. It's kind of like going to watch Razorback football. If you want to get a good parking spot, you better get there early.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not from Nebraska.
That wasn't a good comparison at all. I'm sorry. I'll take that back.
Does anybody else have any questions? Again, thank you all for your time, and I just encourage you all to do as much research as possible on these. You got a comment? I'm sorry.
I do have a question, I'm sorry, I didn't make an emergency phone call. What is it, our bond rating? Is it double A or?
We won't know that until they actually go out for shopping the bonds.
So they've not rated this yet?
No, they have not.
I'm sure you're tracking the bond with double A, right?
We're doing the best we can. We're relying a lot on our bond trustees because they're going to know that information. But yes, we're trying to track those as much.
Bond and triple A, they're both going up every day. Municipal bonds. So I hope we keep going to what it is. Just hope it won't be.
I don't have the video of the plan. But again, please do as much research as you possibly can on it, and then make whatever decision you feel is best in your interest. And again, when is the time? Thank you.
Thanks, Luke. In view of the hour right now, I'm going to call a break here in just a second, but I would like to have one more speaker. Kim, would you come up and say what you'd like to say? Kim
No, thank
Wachowski?
you.
You what?
No, thank you. I'm Kim with Goodwill. I'm too new to the community to really have a yay or a nay on this. I listened to all the facts. I am more drawn to the yay than the nay, that is for sure. But again, be informed. Listen to everything that's up here. Ask all the questions that you can ask. Research other places. See if this is good for Harrison. I go to Berryville and I do hiring events in Berryville. And in Berryville, they love their community center. And I go there and I go, wow, I would love to have this in my community. But again, I'm new to the area, I'm trying to figure out everything, and I'm learning as much as I possibly can to have an informed decision as well. Thank you so much.
Kim, give us just a 30-second pronouncement.
A couple of things I want to talk about, and, you know, we start talking about facts. I do have to call Mr. Mayor Riggs Rachel out because he talked about my hometown. I'm actually from Newport, and everything he said was true, especially about the 23 years of football victory. He called it a rivalry, but I don't think it's much of a rivalry if you win every game. So, I think he left, but I had to say that to him because what he said is true. It kind of saddens me when I do go back to my hometown and I have to drive through Batesville, and they are thriving and Newport is not anymore. So that's kind of why we're here and we're pushing this proposal, because I have seen it with my own eyes. You know, we talk about quality of life. We touch a lot of kids, a lot of adults with Parks and Rec, and we do want to improve the quality of life. Right now with the youth center, we are starting to offer more adult programs than we ever have, and we're starting to expand our youth programs into more technology with our gaming and esports. And every one of these activities are growing. It's about as fast as we can put them out. So we're kind of trying to think outside the box, and I really appreciate all the participants we have in that. This whole proposal started with something for everyone. Luke says a lot, from age 1 to 101. We really want people to be able to use our facilities, and that's why we're looking at that proposal. You know, Parks and Rec actually supports the county. Valley, Bergman, a lot of these school districts outside of Harrison are using our facilities for their home fields of baseball and softball. Alpena uses our fields for their home fields. So we're actually supporting these schools, and we have partnerships with Harrison and Valley, Bergman, and Alpena for them to use our facilities. So it's not just a Harrison thing. And I hear a lot of times that people are asking, why are we spending $40 million just on a community center? Well, it's more than that. And Wade's going to talk to you more about the trails, but we're also doing a lot of facility updates. You know, we're adding more parking, huge asset, and we're also putting covered bleachers in, which is definitely a safety issue. Mr. Porter asked, what about the 1/4 cent? What can we do with that? When I got this job 5 years ago, the first thing I did was make an asset replacement list. And what Luke said, he called them telephone poles, but the light poles we have are all wood. We've got poles out there at our facility that are over 50 years old. We just had our light poles inspected, and we're having to pull a lot of poles at certain facilities and replace them, and we're being able to recycle some. We've already started replacing some with metal. So we're doing a lot of updates. And I hear all the time, what are we doing about maintenance? But we have asset replacement lists in place for the next 20 years. So this is going to help us. And we've never had a tax at Parks and Rec, especially since I've been there, for these kinds of things. We get a $536,000 allotment from the city, and I raise over $500,000 from sponsorships and donations to support our budget. That's how we function. So I just wanted to put those details out. But as far as, you know, somebody, I think it was Rick Schoenberger said, you know, sports is what's driving our tourism in the city. I'm pretty sure about 75% or more of our tourism is what I bring to town. I mean, we just had a league of basketball that just finished last Saturday. 35 teams. 5 of them were from Harrison. They used our Harrison facilities, partnering with the school. So we're doing a lot of things to bring a lot of people to this community. Parks is, but we're also trying to take care of our own. Those kids from Harrison were actually able to play in that league for free. So it was a great asset. Now I will tell you that we did lose in the summer. We lost a 80-team basketball tournament because we didn't have enough air-conditioned gyms to support that tournament. And that cost us about $250,000 in revenue, tax revenue for that tournament. We did the numbers on that. So that's just kind of something that Parks does, and we'll be able to offer more tournaments and things like that for when we get this new community center and facility updates. So that's kind of what I was going to talk about tonight. I'm basically here to answer any questions you might have as far as, you know, any question about the community center or facility updates or even some of the trails. And if I can't answer all the trails, I'll relay that to Lane. So, does anybody have any questions for me on Parks and Rec?
I got a question, Chuck, just curiosity. Based on what you have facility-wise now, and what's generated from that, what do you feel new rec center will generate for you versus what you're getting now, and will we lose some of the stuff you've got now? How's that going to balance out?
I really don't feel like we're going to lose anything. I feel like we're really going to gain. Because offering the new adult programs that we're trying to offer now, we're already limited on our nights. I mean, I would tell you right now that my utilities, just since the first of the year, have already went up $14,000. Just because I'm offering more things and the youth center is being used more and our facilities are being used more every night. Not just the youth center, but our soccer and our baseball, softball complex. So I think we're going to gain. We want it to be used. You know, this new facility is going to be open from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. Right now, we're only open 8 to 5 as far as our operating hours. But we have kids there after, according to what kind of league we have going on. But as far as our office, we're wanting to be open at 5 to 9. So we really want to expand that. Any other questions? Yes, sir.
One of the things that Mr. Porter was talking about earlier, as far as the 3% sales tax, is just the fact that many people in the community are concerned about what, in effect, they think that for 2.5 years, there's going to be a buildup of this fund. And they're looking at it in terms of being a slush fund in which there's little or no accountability. And I think that's one of the issues that we really need to think about seriously, because how is that going to be accounted in such a way that it will actually apply toward what the community is voting for?
I understand. And like I said, I have an asset replacement that we could get started on tomorrow for safety. A lot of it is safety issues that I've been bringing to my commission and city council that we could use that money for. It's just, I don't get to make that final decision. I don't think we gets to make that final decision. So that's what it will be used for, and that's what it will be approached probably to city council for.
So from an accountability standpoint, it will be determined and people will know what's taking place with the money that they vote in for that.
Yes, sir. I can honestly say yes, sir, on that.
Okay, thank you.
I won't be making that final decision. I will be making recommendations.
That's great. I appreciate it.
Chuck, Mayor Rick's book,
Yeah,
were you gonna address that, or?
the book?
Yeah, that he,
No, Mayor Rick was gonna leave it with us.
yeah, I just thought he might want to,
A real good point.
to
You don't know what we're talking about.
chime in there. Let Rick-
No, I
Mayor
mean,
Rick
this
talk
reading
about
apparently,
Go ahead, Mayor Rick.
just give me the cliff notes.
Open
Well,
that.
Yeah.
actually, right here, I just compiled, I had my parks director, I said, I want you to print off, of course, we have, Excel spreadsheets, and basically on everything. We have every program that is listed, that is taking place, meetings, activities, concerts, MMA fights, banquets, chamber events, youth basketball, pickleball, senior water aerobics, all compiled in this, and there's 89 pages of this, and I think it goes till, this is from January 1 until, well, it's all the way to December the 30th. We've already got, schedules and everything, our yoga that's offered, the senior aerobics. But anyway, I have this, I'm gonna leave it with the parks or the mayor's office, so if you wanna come by and just kind of take a look at it, just kind of see what opportunities is opened up for our community, and they can be duplicated here in Harrison as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there, just to kind of elaborate, I was looking at that book a little bit earlier, and there's like 25 or 30 entries on each page.
Absolutely, yes.
And
Yes.
there's 89 pages, so there is a tremendous amount of activity that goes on at the Batesville facility, which we would be able to offer the same to our community. It will definitely be a facility that will be used by our community.
And I think that goes to his question about how do we feel like we're gonna lose or gain? I think we're definitely gonna be
I
gaining.
mean, it kind of blew my mind when I looked at that book this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
I haven't seen a sample ballot, but anything that's promised here, if it's not on the ballot, when it's voted on, it can be changed anytime, right?
Anything not on the ballot?
Huh?
I don't know if I'm understanding your question, sir.
Okay. Anything that's promised here, if it's not written down on the ballot, and I haven't seen a sample ballot, but anything that's promised here by anybody, it can be changed at any time, right? Let me put it this way.
Yes.
What you promise, the city council can change it at any time.
That's
Right?
right. That's correct.
So really, what is coming out here really don't make any difference. It's what, on down the line, the city council, whoever's elected on the city council, can change it at any time and do what they want to with this money that's coming in. The one half,
The one
one
quarter,
half
the 1
percent.
quarter, are you talking about the 1 quarter?
yes,
Yes.
They can change it to
That will be
whatever.
voted through city council. Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I touch on that, if that's okay?
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm pulling up the ballot language here real quick if I can.
I've got it right here.
Oh. Well, are you asking if it can be spent on something besides Parks and Rec? Because in the ballot it's written as for
I think I can
operations and
answer
maintenance
this
of
question.
Parks and Rec.
Luke, I think I can answer your question. The 1/4% part of the ballot, it's worded that it has to be used in park and recreation.
Yes, sir.
Now, it can be used for whatever you want to in park, but that's where it has to go. The 3/4 on the ballot has to go toward the bond.
Bond. Yes, sir. I think, Luke, is it worded for Parks and Recs, maintenance and operations?
It's not pulling up here on my phone, it keeps going away for some reason, but yes, it does say that it has to be used for parks and recreation purposes only, on that 1/4 cent. And the 3/4 cent actually spells out a little bit more in detail of what it is involved with in that 3/4 cent as well.
Thank you. I think Mayor Crockett has it.
Yeah, let me make a quick comment here. At this point in time, at this instance, that 1/4 cent, which will generate $1.25 million a year, has to be spent on parks. But it will not be decided at this point in time by city council. It will be decided by the Parks Board, who are non-elected officials.
I want to make a comment on that. We're actually having a special city council meeting tomorrow night because I came up with a proposal through my commission and taking through the mayor to city council that will be dissolving the commission. And that will be voted on, and an ordinance will be read tomorrow night at city council to take Parks and Rec underneath the city, and our commission will become an advisory committee to the council. So that will be a meeting, we discuss that tomorrow night at city council. To answer Does that answer?
If it passes.
Yes, sir. Is there any other questions? Thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Chuck, you did a good job, even though we made you go at a different time, okay? I'd like to introduce at this time Dr. Angela Olson, who's an instructor at North Arkansas Community College and the former school administrator. Angela, you want to stay there or come on up here? Okay. Okay.
As he said, my name's Angela Olson, and I'm a former public school teacher and administrator. Jerry, turn. Okay. Move it closer. You okay now, Ed?
That's better.
Okay. All right, so I have to say this disclaimer though, that I'm simply here on my own accord, and my presence is not indicative of the educational institutes that I'm affiliated with. That being said, I grew up here. I went to Eagle Heights. I graduated Valley Springs with Richmond and Scott, with Scott's sister. And as an adult though, I have lived away for 20 years. So I'm very much aware of the things that our community has or does not have. But my presence here tonight is not to argue a yay or a nay, but to serve as a moderator, because I just believe that everyone has the right to their freedom of opinion and expression. And I'm thankful that Dr. Lewis and his TIG group are affording the patrons of this community this forum so that it can serve as a venue for our voices to be heard. I'm also thankful for the transparency that our mayor and his team and our former mayor and all our different business leaders who are here tonight, and even Mayor making his second trip here, that they're just exhibiting and being present to answer any questions, to alleviate any concerns. The comments that have come to me, since his moderator appointment, they echo some of the things that Rick talked about tonight. The location of our current pool being taken away from the neighborhoods. Some of the things that John spoke of with facilities that could serve maybe both medical and a public use. But in the last forum, some of the things that people have come to me with have actually been addressed. They talked about the maintenance of our current facilities, like the parks and the trails around the park and the lake and the soccer fields, and the availability of bathrooms in those areas. And they kind of asked questions about how is that going to be affected? If we have a rec center, is that going to take precedence over the places that we currently have? There was just a strong feeling that things were not being adequately maintained always currently. And Jeff talked about that last time, Jerry talked about that, Ray talked about that, addressed even the different types of things that they believed would have to play out with the new rec center along with our current facilities. Even, I think it was Chuck who addressed like the old junior high building and why that couldn't be used, because those questions arose. And there were different individuals that just said to me, because again, I just wanted to serve, as their moderator, just a voice, that they enjoyed free access to current areas, because they couldn't afford a membership. And some questions arose, and Chuck talked about this a little bit last time. We talked about school activities and how the different school districts could use things, and how that would play out in terms of when a school is there or a tournament is there, how's that going to affect the members? Chuck mentioned a couple of things like leaving some swimming lanes open for members and such. But there was a lady named Christina here last time, and she talked about why is there just a plan A and not a plan B? Are there some plans actually being taken into consideration for maybe someone else to offer this as opposed to the city, since it seemed like a heavy load on maintenance? And since the last forum, and ironically, Mayor Rick, I've had individuals say, I've heard the Moose Lodge closed in Batesville. Is that going to happen to the rec center there? And they were asking questions about why did that facility close? And do you see that affecting the membership at the rec center, since a lot of the individuals that your advocate talked about last time were people that were there, maybe elderly or for health reasons. And something else that kind of goes along with, I guess, what Mr. Porter said, is there are different towns in our state that have like physical therapy facilities, maybe that a hospital, has put together, and they serve though as a public rec center as well. They have weights, pools, indoor walking areas, different classes. And so some of the questions were just, has Harrison maybe spoken with the hospital or made any type of considerations, you know, instead of just that plan A, to have a plan B where they might work with someone like that. So that would probably just be my question for tonight from most of the individuals that I talked to is, you know, are we looking at a plan B? Have we taken into consideration that there may be other entities that might be able to do a better job of offering this and take some of that load off of the city?
Thanks, Dr. Olson. Any questions that you might have for Dr. Olson or comments? Angela, let me, I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you hear this talked about on the college campus much? Is this topic talked about much among the college students?
No, and it's like the kids, even though they're in their 20s and such, for the most part, they don't know. I was even saying to Luke, since I'm retired, I teach part-time at the college, but I sub in area schools, and even in the lounges there, you don't hear people talking about it. Even though, you know, they won't get to vote, but
I probably should have done it as the leader of this group, but at one time, Jerry, I thought about asking somebody from the college to serve on our panel here. Thanks, Dr. Olson. Any other questions or comments concerning anything that she might have said?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned, how would the membership use the pool if there was an event there?
Right. We talked at the last meeting about that very thing because we were saying, we're talking about bringing people into town and tournaments and such, but if it's being used for, you know, something like a tournament, what do the members do?
But are we talking an 8-lane Olympic pool?
I don't know.
Sure.
Talking about a 25-yard by 25-meter, which would be an 8x10. So it would be 8 lane one way or 2 the other.
Okay, well, if the group is a part of USS Swim, there will not be any lanes open for anyone because no one else will be allowed there,
And the same,
other than just someone to watch the meet.
and when we go to Berryville, or when we go to other meets, there may be an occasion where they may close for 3 or 4 hours, maybe a day, but they let the community members know way in advance back. And when we go to Berryville twice a week, they know when we come there, the patrons know, they can still come if they want, we share.
But you're talking swim practice?
We're talking about swim practice, yes.
Yes, that's not swim meets.
But swim meets, Berryville has closed down their pool.
Yes, you have to do that. I just wanted to.
But they only have 3 lanes. They have 3 lanes. So 2 lanes is completely different.
Dr. Lewis, we can't hear what's being said out here. Could you repeat the question or give him a mic?
Thanks, Scott. Everybody say, thanks, Scott.
That's something I can do.
So we are getting ready to go to a swim meet this weekend in Pocahontas.
Muffling the truth.
And they're trying to decide, it can be an 8-lane pool, but they're trying to decide if they're going to only use 6 lanes and leave 2 lanes open. They haven't figured that out. When they do, sometimes they may need to close the pool out. They let the community know way in advance. But there may be times where it may be shut down. But the people do know.
Well, our children swam for many, many years with USS Swim. That is the top swimming, and we use the pool at the U of A. And all the lanes are only used for the meets. Now, when they practice, I don't know how many other people are there. But for meets, it will need to be closed down.
Not always. Not always, and I will say, so this whole fall, Pocahontas has held 2 swim meets. So they've had 2 days that they may possibly close down the pool for part of the day, maybe a day, but not always. But I think the goal here is to serve the community, so when possible, they're gonna try to leave lanes open so people can swim.
Any other questions or comments?
I'd just like to say on that comment, that's another reason why we're wanting to stay open, or get open earlier in the morning. The days we do have the swim meet, you could come in earlier and swim and have that option, because the swim meet probably would start till 9 a.m. and then it'd still be open till 9 p.m. and the tournament would not go that long. So I just wanted to say that's another reason why we look at those hours.
Okay, Russ, go ahead.
I don't know if anybody can hear me because I wasn't able to hear 2/3 of the people that talked tonight. And we've been completely disemboweled over here because we can't hear what's going on. And I'd like to make a few points. First, I've done business with Jerry Jackson. He's a good guy. No doubt about it. I know this is something he's trying hard to get put through. I do wish that you had decided to go ahead and put the tax on the sale of new homes instead of on the general public. To me, if you want to make Harrison grow and get valuable, you put that, whether there's some little term in the real estate where you don't allow anybody to build any new stuff, and then what we've got doubles in price. What is that called?
Well, I don't know, Jeff, you're the broker.
Illegal.
I don't know. It's
Illegal.
illegal. There you go, illegal.
Mayor Crockett is an amazing person. As a mayor, he tried to get a center built, talked about it. I think the tab was about $3.5 million to put it together or procure that old mass merchandiser property. Also, it would have had the new city hall. Now we've jumped from amount of money that way to $40+ million. I have pluses for what you're doing. We need recreation, we need to take care of the kids, they need to have something to do, they shouldn't be idle, keep them busy. And on the other hand, there's something that bothers me when I go to a boxing match and somebody hits somebody in the low blow or bites them on the ear or does something that really isn't what they're really supposed to do. To me, special elections are made for emergencies. That's why it's the definition. They become a political thing to use because they're known to have poor turnouts. And if you turn the poor turnout in your advantage, it's not cheating and it's not illegal, but it's not quite fair. Especially when they said the people that are mainly going to be paying for this are the tourists from out of town, so don't worry about voting for this because the tourists are going to pay for it, and it's not going to be all paid for by us guys here in Harrison. The county's going to hit what's paid for. And I'll dare say, half the people in the county can't swim. I'm serious. It's not one of the things they take on. I don't think you're going to be able to get people in the county to come and walk in the hiking trails when we've got the Buffalo National River with all the hikes and the parks and all the stuff going around us for people that, we're in the city, sure. New York, that park in the middle gets a lot of business. But we've got more than just what we can handle out here. And it's for the public anyway. This special election is I'm not saying it's wrong, but it taints of something that's wrong. You set yourself up for people to dislike it because they don't think it's fair.
You're trying to get people from the county. I'm a county person. Got real estate, I vote in the city. I'm losing the pulse of who I'm talking to here or with. In other words, if everybody that's here, I don't know who's for this or who's against it. If I could just take a poll, everybody that is for this, could they just raise their hand? So basically, we've got a group here that isn't really for this thing over here. Now, here's the other thing. Of these people,